Welcome to the Federation Grant Report tutorial. I'm Rebekah Kamp, the Montana State Library Data Coordinator. This presentation will provide instructions regarding the Federation Grant Report and pertains to both library directors and Federation coordinators. As defined in ARM 10.102.5102, the annual plan of service for each federation is based on the directives issued by the State Library Commission, taking into account the state long-range plan for libraries. Federation members are required to use Federation funds in accordance with the designated purposes outlined in the plan of service. Libraries must provide an annual report detailing how the funds were utilized for the specified purposes. The report is reviewed by Federation coordinators and a copy is furnished to the State Library Commission. The Federation Grant Report will now be administered in Counting Opinions LibPass, the same software for the Public Library Survey. Most library directors can log into LibPass using the same credentials that they used for completing the PLS. Library Federation coordinators will receive elevated credentials that will allow them to review and troubleshoot responses from all the libraries in their federation. Whether you're a coordinator or a Federation member, you'll receive a welcome email reminding you of your login information and inviting you to begin entering your Federation grant expenses. Once you log into LibPass, you'll be greeted by the welcome screen. Each of the blue tiles features quick links and additional resources to materials about specific surveys. For Federation grants, you can access links to the About Library Federations page on the Montana State Library website and the Federation's dashboard, which visualizes expenses from previous years. Once you're ready to begin entering your responses, click the green button labeled Enter Survey Responses. As Montana State Library adds additional surveys to the LibPass portal, the collections will be available via a dropdown. In this case, the system defaulted to the Federation Grant Report. However, other surveys might include the Public Library Survey and the Public Library Standards. If you're a coordinator, you can also select a library from a second dropdown. Otherwise, the survey will be preset to your library. The first section of the Federation Grant Report includes general information about the library, which we copied over from the Public Library Survey. You'll also find the award amount, the total spent, and the award remaining. Each federation has a plan of service which categorizes allowed expenses. The statewide project expenses are a subset of the resource sharing and technology category. Please use this section to report any grant expenses applied towards statewide projects administered by the State Library. These include the Montana Shared Catalog, Montana Library to Go, the Courier Alliance, and OCLC Group Services. For example, let's say you spent your grant to cover the library's invoice for membership in the Montana Shared Catalog. Click Yes. This will trigger additional questions. First, please tell us what impact the purchase or purchases had on the community. Next, you can enter line items for the expenses. Select the statewide project. Next, enter the amount of grant dollars spent on the item. Please note, this should only be the amount covered by the grant, not necessarily the entire invoice amount if the expense was covered by multiple revenue sources. Finally, enter in a brief description. Returning to the first section of the report, the award remaining is now blank. To trigger the system to recalculate this value, click the Recalculate button at the top of the screen. Libraries are welcome to enter expenses as they go throughout the year. The statewide project section automatically created a blank row signaling that you can enter another expense if needed. If you're done with this section, you can safely disregard that blank row. However, if you've entered data by mistake, you can click the red X to delete the row. The next section, Federation Coordinator Expenses, in most cases is reserved for the Federation Coordinator. Pathfinder Federation is the exception in fiscal year 24, as these libraries received direct funding for trustee training, which must be reported. As in the previous section, you'll enter the impact of Federation Coordinator purchases, because the $4,000 earmarked for trustee training was new this year, we have an additional comment box for impact statement regarding this new investment. Finally, the other plan expense section is where you'll enter all other expenses. The categories match those defined in the plan of service. Reminder, if you have resource sharing or technology expenses related to a service administered by the state library, please enter those expenses in the statewide projects section. Once you have entered all of your expenses for the year, make sure to click Recalculate to check your math. If you overspend or underspend your award, the system will not let you lock your report. Instead, an edit check window prompts you to correct any mistakes. After you fix any errors, you can lock your report. This will trigger an email confirming receipt. Your Federation coordinator is copied on the message. Next, your coordinator will review the report. If all is well, they will approve the report, triggering a second email. Noting that the report was approved. Otherwise, the coordinator will unlock your report and follow up with a request for revision. In all cases, you should lock your grant report no later than August 15th so that coordinators and the state library have time to review and prepare a summary report for the State Library Commission. Next section of this presentation pertains specifically to Federation coordinators. As mentioned at the start of this tutorial, coordinators will have access to elevated credentials, which will be distributed via email. The portal is the same in most respects. However, you will also be able to view and edit reports from libraries in your Federation as needed. As libraries lock their reports, you'll receive an email. Upon receipt, you should review the report. If you find areas that need to be edited, you may unlock the report for necessary revisions. Otherwise, you can click Approve. This signals to the state library that the data is ready to be incorporated into a dashboard. If you find an issue after clicking Approve, you'll need to notify the State Library Data Coordinator or your consultant to revert the report to an unlocked state. Federation coordinators will also have access to status reports. The reports are published online and can be bookmarked for quick review. The links will be provided in the email with your login credentials. This is an example of the Broad Valleys report. As you can see in the status, the Belgrade Community Library has spent their total award and the report is now both locked and approved. You can see that the report includes an approved date. This concludes the Federation Grants tutorial. If you have any questions, please contact Rebekah Kamp at the Montana State Library.